Hello, this is Ivan from Loquiz, and today we're going to review the task settings. In another video, we've seen the different task type, and if you haven't seen it yet, I invite you to see the link that's in the video description. So we've seen all this page in this past video. Let's start with this page. As you can see, there are several tabs, and each tabs have their set of settings. In the comment, you can edit different text that will appear from the task. So we have the short intro. The short intro will appear on the bottom of the task, whether you're on the map or on the playground, just like this. Then you have the intro. The intro will appear when you tap on the task, if you have the bubble, just like this. Here you have the hint. Whenever the player is stuck on a task, you have the option to add a hint, and in the hint you can add some explainer, and it will appear like this. And here you have the after answer comments. There are two fields. The comments can be different whether it's correct or incorrect. It can be useful, for example, if the player doesn't answer correctly, you can put it here, hint. So it's another way to put the hint than here. For example, if they restart the task, they will know that, I don't know, in the previous question, the answer is not yellow. Then we have the media page. You can add an image. Actually, you can also add an image here with this button, but the difference here is that it will be put on top of the task part, and this image can be zoomable, and it's very useful if it's a riddle or if the image is part of the puzzle, and it will look like this on the player screen. You have the video. The video has to be YouTube or Vimeo. Please note that you can't upload your own video. It has to be to YouTube or Vimeo. And also, if you add this in your game, the player will need to be online, to be connected to the network if they want to watch the video. And on the app, it looks like this. And add an audio. The audio can be any audio file, and you will have a player on the task screen. And this is useful for a task which the riddle is based on the sound. For example, they have a mouse code that they have to listen and to re-listen to decipher the code. On the screen, it looks like this. And you have the background audio. These two are different. This one has the player, like you've seen, and this one is played automatically. And you can just put a sound. It can be played loop. For example, if you have an ambient sound, and in this case, it's just a simple mirror, so we don't put a loop, it's just a sound that will appear when the player starts the task. We have the activation tasks. So these are different ways to activate the task during the Loquiz game. You can do it with the iBeacons. The iBeacons are small Bluetooth device, and if the device with Loquiz, the phone with Loquiz or the tablet approaches an iBeacon within a few meters range, then the task will appear. The barcode, so you can add a specific barcode, and if using the code scanner from Loquiz, it reads this barcode, then the task will open. Activate and click. This one will make the task activate if you tap on it, whether it's on the map or on the playground. Usually on the map, you don't want to have tasks that are opened by click because you want people to reach this place, but sometimes you want to add some information about a remote place. This can be useful. Or also on the playground, if there is an icon that's more informative and not part of the game, then you can disable this. But if an icon is a button that will activate something, then you can enable this. Activate by QR. Just like the barcode, you can download the QR, and if the QR is scanned, then it opens this task. We have other settings. So here there's the pin icon. You can change the pin icon as you can add your very own file as the pin icon. For example, here I put a cat. And here there is the anchor position. So where the center of the icon should be when it's displayed on the map or on the playground. You can change the area color. The area color appears on the map. And you will see on the bottom of the task, if the player reaches this area, then the task opens. So it looks like this on the map. Please note that you can choose a custom color. So we don't see on my screen, but there is a color picker, and the color picker allows you to have something very custom. So you can also put an hexadecimal code right here. Here is the time limit. You can choose the time that the player have to answer the question, to answer the quiz, and you can also enable point based on answering speed. The number of points that the task will give will be proportional to the time left. And I really like this feature when I want to ensure that each player in a game will have a very different number of points. Because, yeah, if they answer something, it's very unlikely that they answer at the very same time. This is important for the logic keep or remove task. You can decide that the task will just disappear if they answer correctly or incorrectly. And you can decide that the task will keep appearing if answer correctly, or if you keep it until the end of the game. When you build the game, when you are ready to deliver this to your players, ensure that each task have it correctly, because this can change the whole rules of your game. And here you have the time answering incorrectly deactivate location for if the task is located somewhere that's outdoor, then it's important that you have at least 10 seconds. Why so? Because when the player is located somewhere and the task finishes, then if it was immediate, the task would immediately reappear. Whereas if you put it like 20 seconds, they have time to leave the area and to do something else. And when you do this, when the player leaves an area and the task is being deactivated, it looks like this on your device. You can allow player to close the task and they can just close and answer later. This works on the map, on the list, on the playground. And same story here. If it's outdoor, then it's important that you have a certain number of seconds. There is the language here. You can choose the language, but it's just a display, it's just a label. So it doesn't influence anything from your game. It just, when you have an account and you make games in different languages and you want to find specific tasks, so it works like a tag, nothing more. Instructor notes, these are instructions that you can add, and this can be visible for the instructor here or on the result page. So it's just like internal notes. Here you have show if the answer was correct or incorrect. If you tick this, then you will have a pin that will show in the after answer and the after answer comment, the same that you set up here, and it will show whether it's correct or incorrect. And if it's correct, it would look like this. Here you can show the correct answer after user answer incorrectly. If the user answer, I don't know, white, then they will know in the after answer comment that the correct answer was orange. And from the player's perspective, this would look like this. And finally, the last tab is about using what game. Here we see that it's used in this game, but sometimes tasks can be used in many different games, and in that case, it's important to know if you do an edit of one task, on which game will it affect. And here you have a direct link to the different games that this task is used. Additionally, there is one setting that we didn't see because the task was already linked with a specific location. Here, for this game, let's just add a task, and the task is location specific task. Okay, no answer. We just add in our game, make the creator. This is the location specific task. Sometimes task can be related with one specific place. For example, what does the Big Ben show on the clock? And this task has to be in one specific location, so you want to tick this. And from this setting, you can choose wherever the task will always be. And you can also edit just like a normal task. We've seen the different settings from one task, and if you have any questions, feel free to comment under this video, or you can also send me an email at ivan@loquiz.com. Have fun!